Hey, welcome to MULLEN Stock. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications by hitting the bell so you never miss any of our uploads. And also remember that this is not a financial advice video. Today, I want to provide you with a summary of what was happening with MULLEN. I'll cover some data points, talk about the shorts, and also discuss the news. So MULLEN closed at 7.49, with a drop in its value. There was some support in the 49.50 range, but for the most part, it was in free fall, and there were very few buyers today. Approximately 52.68 million shares were traded today, which was slightly higher than the last couple of days. The average has been around 69.32 million shares, according to some news we mentioned earlier. The CEO has provided shareholders with further updates. But first, let's discuss some data points and other aspects. Starting with options, 97,000 contracts were bought in calls, while 83,000 contracts were bought in puts. Compared to the past few days, options have brought in slightly more money, but it's still not a clear picture. However, according to the latest details, there are approximately 7,000 contracts with open interest at a strike price of 50 cents, which, according to current information, are below this strike price. So if this situation persists, these contracts won't be in the money by this Friday. It's essential to keep this in mind. In matters of investments or large transactions, I want to mention once again that immediately after the market closes, it appears that there have been approximately 402 trades that I've been repeatedly highlighting for the past few days. Good old RBC has made 2 trades, both of which are for 500,000 shares each. Based on the details before and after these trades, I can say that these are purchases because they were executed at around 49 cents per share, whereas previously they were executed at 48 cents per share. However, I must emphasize that it becomes quite challenging to understand and coordinate during after-hours trading. It's hard to determine whether these are purchases or sales, so I still have absolutely no idea what RBC is up to. I had a discussion today, but I'll be talking about something else tomorrow, which might provide more insights into the RBC business. Apart from that, I'll also give you a quick update on shorts. The short score is currently at 78, with a utilization rate of 87.55%. As I mentioned in the past few days, shorts have been heavily hammering MULLEN, and you can understand from this that they went all out in hammering MULLEN right at the market opening. At the moment, there are approximately 2 million shares available for shorting until tomorrow. They might cause a bit more pain, and this will happen through interactive brokers. But today, they increased it by 1.79 million shares on the internet, and it now stands at 21% of the free float. 36.57 million shares are currently overall shorted, with an average cost to borrow of 22.38. What are your thoughts on these data points? What are your considerations for buying and selling RBC? Do you believe this is something malicious, good, or bad? What are your insights on this? I've also looked at recent news and provided updates for shareholders. I want to provide some comments which are varied, positive, negative, and neutral. I have a few paragraphs through which I'd like to share some information with you. Our balance sheet is robust, and we have taken some significant steps since the last update on August 14, 2023. This is generally good news, but there's one crucial piece missing: the amount of cash we have on hand. It's essential to know this too, because MULLEN has recently made some promising moves. But I believe that the general public, both bulls and bears, may not have 100% trust in MULLEN. Some may agree with me, while others may not. I'm simply sharing my perspective. For NASDAQ compliance status, there is a section here that looks relatively positive, and this might be a new piece of news. Based on the information we have, it is written that the company has acquired the services of Donohoe Advisory Associates LLC, which is a noteworthy development. We hadn't heard of them before, but according to this PR, they seem credible. The PR states that they have represented the stock exchange listing matters of approximately 1,500 companies from their inception until now. It is also known that Donohoe Advisory is a team that includes former stock exchange officials, which in my opinion is a positive aspect that can benefit the company. And if we look at the context, I've done some research and informed you about it. However, MULLEN has not yet mentioned what will happen after the hearing. This press release mentions that the hearing panel may grant a potential additional extension period. So this is MULLEN objective. Still, I think this is a fairly positive update. It would be good if we could find out when the actual hearing is going to take place. It appears to be within 30 to 45 days, which is helpful to know. Then there's the mention of another company that recently conducted transactions and pilot programs. British Airways is mentioned in this context, But unfortunately, it doesn't specify how many vehicles were purchased. It only mentions bans. However, the important point is that MULLEN is now an approved vendor for additional British Airways locations. This could indicate potential for more significant and better opportunities, since it mentions only LA and Chicago. I believe there might be another airport that could have a stronger link to engineering. On August 29th, there was also a discussion about the New York Power Authority. In this section, it highlights that they are assessing additional locations. Then there is information about NRTC, where they have purchased approximately 3 M3 vehicles, but delivery confirmation has not been received yet. However, it mentions that this is the last week of Q3, and in the case of MULLEN, their fiscal year ends on September 30th. It is noted that the delivery of Class 3 vehicles is expected by the end of Q3 2023. Some of the M3 should be delivered before September 30th, and today is September 28th, so the timeline is very tight. Nevertheless, it seems that deliveries/revenue is my attempt to write about revenue, using the mouse, but whatever it may be, it's a very good thing to talk about in this paragraph. However, this is not necessary because if I remember correctly, it goes above £19,000, so it works out to be a savings of $40,000. According to my knowledge, the M3 is included in it. I may be wrong, but they are only talking about $7,500, and people really want to talk about a $40,000 discount. People are pointing towards Romeo Power, but there are no basic details as of yet. This indicates that on August 10th, MULLEN Class 3 commercial vehicle production began, and I believe this was an issue because they had only tweeted about it. I don't think it was official news or an official PR announcement that the production would start on August 10th, and this brings me to the points I have raised many times. How many vehicles they have produced after August 10th, because until now, I always considered their starting point to be August 21st. But after August 10th, how many cars have they produced? Because technically, as Brad mentioned, their production started on August 10th. By the end of this week, approximately 10 vehicles need to be delivered. So is this because they have only produced 10 vehicles, or is it that MGT has the capacity for this many vehicles? We require updates of this nature, and unfortunately, this document does not mention it in this PR. Nor does it specify that only 10 vehicles will be delivered. It merely mentions an expectation of deliveries by the end of Q3, which means by September 30, 2023. So this is a small note, but it raises the question again of deliveries expected by September 30, 2023. The document also discusses the stock buyback program, which is a positive aspect. It mentions that $5.6 million worth of stock was purchased on August 16, and an additional 2 million shares were bought on August 17. However, it also states that the company will look for further opportunities to buy shares in the future. I find this type of sentence positive in my opinion. It is mentioned that the tour is halfway through, but mostly that's about it. So I understand that if you don't closely follow MULLEN every day, this news is quite good. However, generally, it misses important aspects like how much cash they have, when deliveries are happening, and how many vehicles have been manufactured. These are the kind of questions we really need answers to. As I mentioned before, institutions are also waiting for this information. Institutions will prefer to invest in a company where guaranteed revenue is expected, not just speculation about potential revenue. So yes, this is good news for many investors. I would be delighted to hear your thoughts. Do you think anything was missed in this? One more thing I'm thinking about is Romeo Power. What are the next steps for them? What is the plan for all these assets? Will they be moved or used, and when will they be used? I believe there are some questions about Romeo Power that have been left out of the document. Guys, that's all we have for you today. What is your opinion about MULLEN stock? Get involved and let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.